In today's video, we are going to talk about the greatest comeback story in sports, but not just any sport. This is going to be basketball. Now, basketball is one of my favorite sports. It's probably one sport that I love watching. There are many reasons for this. But in the last couple years, it's been all about Giannis Antetokounmpo and his journey. I mean, the guy went from undrafted to a two-time MVP to a champion. And he did it in the most humble way possible. He also didn't play college basketball. And if he were to be an American player, people would have said he wasn't worth taking a chance on, or that he was too raw and wouldn't make it in the league. But he proved them wrong. But today we aren't talking about him. We're going to go back to 2011 and take a look at a player who was on top of the world and had everything taken away from him. In fact, he was the youngest player to ever win the NBA's Most Valuable Player award. You might be thinking LeBron James, but no. We're actually talking about Derrick Rose. And this is going to be a look at one of the most unfortunate stories in professional sports. Rose was considered a prodigy coming out of high school. Many people believed that Rose was the second coming of Allen Iverson. But when Rose entered the league, he did something that no one had ever done before. He'd won Rookie of the Year, and then came back the next year and won the MVP award. Yes, you heard me correctly, the most valuable player in the entire league. At the time, I was a junior in high school, and I remember watching Rose play and being blown away. I mean, there was a kid who was younger than me, who was playing basketball better than everyone else in the league. It seemed unfair. In 2011, the Chicago Bulls were very good. They had a nice mix of youth with Derrick Rose, Taj Gibson, and Jimmy Butler, and veteran leadership with guys like Rip Hamilton, Joakim Noah, and Carlos Boozer. The team was coached by Tom Thibodeau, who was easily one of the best coaches during his time in Chicago. And they made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. They were poised to make it to the NBA Finals for the first time since 1998, and everyone was excited for the future of the Bulls. On April 2012, during Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Philadelphia 76ers, Derrick Rose drove to the basket and landed awkwardly on his knee. He tried to get up but quickly fell back down. His knee buckled, and he looked devastated. He was helped off the court by his teammates, and the crowd watched in disbelief. It was later revealed that Rose tore his ACL. The Bulls lost in the next game without Rose, and everyone felt bad for the young star. They knew that he had worked extremely hard to get where he was, and it was unfortunate to see what happened. But they were also hopeful, because he was only 23 years old and should have a full recovery. As the next season started, Rose started rehabbing his knee. Everyone was eagerly waiting for his return. Then disaster struck again. On November 22, 2013, during a game against the Portland Trail Blazers, Rose drove to the basket again and heard a pop in his knee. He crumpled to the floor and left the game with a torn meniscus. As time went on, it was revealed that Rose was playing on a severely compromised knee, and doctors said that he would need another surgery. So he went under the knife again. Now he needed to wait another year to try to come back. Everyone was getting worried. Could Rose ever come back from 2 major knee injuries? To make things worse, it was announced that Rose would miss the entire 2014 to 2015 season. People began writing him off and saying that he was never going to be the same. All of the other players in the league thought that it was safe to attack Rose because he was clearly not the same. I mean, a lot of them probably thought that he was done. It was clear that Rose was struggling both physically and mentally. He looked uncomfortable on the court and was nowhere near the player he once was. But he kept trying. Slowly but surely, Rose started to show glimpses of the player he once was. Over the next 2 seasons, he averaged over 20 points per game and showed flashes of brilliance. But it wasn't enough for the Bulls. They wanted more. And it seemed that Rose couldn't give it to them. Then came the 2016 to 2017 season. This season, Rose played in just 51 games and averaged just 11.4 points per game. Things were looking bleak for the former MVP. On June 2016, Rose opted out of his contract with the Bulls and signed a team-friendly deal with the New York Knicks. Many people criticized Rose for signing with the Knicks, but he really didn't have any other options. The season started, and Rose found himself buried on the bench. On February 2017, Rose was traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. If you know anything about the Cavs, you know that they had a pretty good team. This trade could possibly revive his career. LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love were all on that team. Rose was excited and ready to prove everyone wrong. It was going to help the Cavs bring another championship to Cleveland. But unfortunately, the Cavs lost in the finals to the Golden State Warriors. After the finals, Rose became a free agent again and signed a minimum contract with the Minnesota Timberwolves. He averaged 18 points per game and was finally starting to find his rhythm again. Then the playoffs came. On April 2018, in Game 8 of the first round against the Houston Rockets, Rose scored 30 points on 11 of 18 shooting. This was huge for Rose, because this was the first time he had scored over 30 points since 2012. Then the unthinkable happened. After the game, head coach Tom Thibodeau announced that Rose suffered a season-ending injury. Yep, you guessed it, another knee injury. At this point, it seemed like Rose's career was over. The injuries just kept piling up. It seemed like he would never be able to stay healthy. Fast forward to 2020, and Rose is now playing for the New York Knicks again. At this point, no one expected much from Rose. He was just there for veteran leadership, right? Well, on May 2021, Derrick Rose came off the bench and scored 50 points in a game against the Pistons. This was huge because Rose scored a season-high 29 points in the fourth quarter. He hit 3 straight three-pointers in the final minute to seal the win. The Knicks won 121-109. But the craziest part of this night was that Rose received a standing ovation from the fans. Here was a man who had dealt with so much adversity, and he was still in the league. He wasn't just in the league, he was putting up big numbers. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why is this the greatest comeback story ever? The guy just put up big numbers and moved on with his life. Well, here's why. Every single time Rose got injured, it seemed like he was done. Doctors told him that he may never play again. Other players wrote him off. Even though Rose never said that he was done, it appeared that he was finished. But he didn't quit. He rehabbed his body, both physically and mentally. He worked harder than anyone else. And when the opportunities presented themselves, he took advantage of them. This is what makes Rose's story unique. Sure, there are a ton of athletes who have overcome major obstacles, but what sets Rose apart is that he didn't complain, didn't blame others for his situation. He didn't make excuses. He just worked. I think one of the biggest parts of overcoming obstacles is having faith in yourself. When no one else believes in you, you have to believe in yourself. Rose had that. Even though doctors told him that he may never play again, he believed that he could come back and play at a high level. It took a while, but he eventually proved them wrong. Another thing that I admire about Rose is that he never gave up hope. Even when he was traded to the Cavs and then lost in the finals, he still believed that he could win a championship. He didn't let the setback get him down. He used it as motivation to work harder. Lastly, I think that Rose is a great role model for young athletes. He shows us that it doesn't matter how talented you are or how much potential you have. If you don't work hard, it won't matter. Rose could have easily given up after his first knee injury, but he didn't. He came back and won the MVP award. Sure, he didn't win another MVP after that, but he still accomplished his goal of winning the award. So yes, Derrick Rose may not be the player that he once was, but that doesn't mean that he isn't successful. He overcame obstacles that most people can't even imagine. He is a true inspiration to me, and I hope that he continues to play for many years to come. Thank you for watching and supporting. Please leave a like and a comment below on what you think about Rose's story. Also, if you want to watch more videos similar to this, check out the rest of the content. Have a great day, and we will see you in the next video.